In today's video, we're going to focus on finding the interior and exterior angles of a polygon. Now, the interior and exterior angles are just the inside angles or the outside angles. For today's video, you're also going to need to know two formulas: the sum of the interior angles in a convex polygon is this formula right here, and the sum of the exterior is right here. So please go ahead and write those down, and then we'll move on to a couple definitions, and then we'll get to our problems for the day. You're going to need to know how to name a polygon based on its number of sides. So if it has 3 sides, it is a triangle, 4 sides, quadrilateral, 5 pentagon, 6 hexagon, 7 heptagon, 8 octagon, 9 nonagon, that's a little bit of a weird one, 11 undecagon, 12 dodecagon. Now, you might not have seen this before, but if it has 13 sides, all they do is they go 13-gon, representing that there are 13 sides. And if there are n sides, they just say n-gon. So you might want to write down the ones you don't know, but the ones you do know, no worries, no need to write those down. And we've got a couple more definitions. You don't have to write these down, you just need to be able to recognize them. Interior angles are the angles formed by the edges on the inside of the figure. So right there would be an interior angle, here would be another interior angle. So again, they're the angles that are formed on the inside. The exterior angles are a little bit different. They are the angles formed on the outside, but you have to extend the side out, and this right here would be an exterior angle. So would this one here, and this one here, and so would this one here. So the exterior angles again are formed by extending the sides out from the figure, and they're formed between that outside line and the figure itself. So those are your exterior angles. Remember, your exterior angles, if you add them up all the way around the figure, that formula we looked at earlier said the sum is 360 degrees. So exterior angles have a pretty easy formula, and again, the interior angles, if you add up all of the sides, the number of sides, subtract 2 from the number of sides and multiply by 180, that gives you the sum of all the angles inside of a polygon. We're going to look at a total of 5 problems today, and this first problem tells us to find the sum of the interior angles of a heptagon. Well, this problem's just got a couple parts to it. First of all, we're finding the sum of the interior angles. Anytime you see that sum of interior angles, you might as well go ahead and just immediately write down the formula: n minus 2 times 180. Now, we want to find the sum of the interior angles of a heptagon. Heptagon just means that there are 7 sides. So that means n, your number of sides, is going to be 7. So what you do is you take 7 and you take 2 away from 7, and then you multiply by 180. So 7 minus 2 is 5. 5 times 180, you can use a calculator for that. You should get a total of 900. So the sum of the interior angles of a heptagon is 900 degrees. Now the second problem is going to be the reverse of the previous one. It says, suppose the sum of the interior angles of a figure is 1080 degrees. Classify the polygon by the number of sides. All that means is, again, since we're talking about the sum of the interior angles, you know you're going to use the formula n minus 2 times 180. And in this case, n minus 2 times 180 is going to equal to 1080 degrees. Now there's a couple ways you can think about this. You can solve it out like you normally would, or we can just do the reverse. We took the number of sides and we subtracted 2 and multiplied by 180, and that gave us 1080. When we do the opposite of that, we can take 1080, divide by 180, and then add 2, and that will give us the number of sides. So that's really the non-mathy way. If you want to see the actual way of solving it out, since it's n minus 2 times 180, we're going to distribute that 180. gives us 180n minus 360, because 180 times 2 is 360, is equal to 1080. Add 360 to both sides. We get 180n is equal to 1440. Divide both sides by 180, and you'll get your final answer of 8. So you find out n is equal to 8. Now again, that's the long mathy way to do it. What you could have done is just did the opposite of what we did before. You took the number of sides, subtracted 2, multiplied 180. That means you do the opposite. You take 1080, divide by 180. So 1080 divided by 180. That gives us 6. And instead of subtracting 2, we're doing the opposite. You add 2, and you get 8. So either way is going to give you the answer. This is the non-technical way. This is the more technical math, solve out by using equation way. Either way is fine. Now our next problem is going to give us a whole bunch of angles inside of a regular polygon, or excuse me, just a polygon. And what you're going to have to do is find a missing value. Well, what you're going to do, since we're talking about the sum of all of the inside angles, you can use the n minus 2 times 180. To find the sum of all those angles, to find out how much all the angles should add up to. So we're first got to find the number of sides. I like using little marks on the sides to keep track of it. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 7 sides. So we go 7 minus 2. We take 2 away from 7. Then we multiply by 180. And you should get a total of 900 degrees. Well, that means all of these angles inside should add up to 900 degrees. So to find the y, to find the missing value, all we have to do is take all of these values away from 900, and the leftover amount, the remaining amount, is going to be y. So what I would do in the calculator is I would just go 900, and I would take away 130, take away 129, take away 141, take away 118, take away 128, take away 132, and you'll end up with your final answer of 122 degrees. So that's one way to do it, is to subtract each one individually, and you get 122 degrees doing that. The other way to do it is to go ahead and add up all of those sides, 132, and your calculator, plus 128, plus 118, plus 141, plus 129, plus 130, and you're going to get a total of 778 degrees. Now remember, we're trying to add up to 900 degrees because of our formula. Formula told us it was supposed to add up to 900. So all we have to do is take 900, subtract 778, and it'll give you the answer of the remaining amount of degrees. It'll give you 122 degrees left over. Our second to last problem, our fourth problem, is going to ask us to find the value of x, and it's just like the previous one, except in this case you notice all these angles are exterior angles, and if you add up all of your exterior angles you should get 360 degrees. That was one of the formulas you wrote down, is that the sum of the exterior angles is 360 degrees. So if we go x plus 89 plus 56 plus 123, we should get 360 degrees. So what I would do is I would add up the 89, the 56, and 123, and then I would take that away from 360, and that would give us our value of x. So get your calculator, go ahead and add up 89 and 56 and 123, and you'll get 268 degrees. And then to get x again, all we got to do is take 268 degrees away from the 360 degrees, and that'll give us our value of x. So 360 minus 268 is going to give us a value of 92, so we know that our x is 92 degrees. And our last problem is actually going to use both of the formulas we've already learned, which is our sum of our interior and our sum of our exterior, because it's going to ask us to find one and only one interior angle and only one exterior angle if you have a 15-gon. Let's do the interior first. Now remember, if you're talking about the sum of the interior angles of a 15-gon, what you have to do is use your formula, n minus 2, so n being the number of sides, minus 2, times 180. Well, our number of sides is 15, so 15 minus 2 is 13, and 13 times 180 will give us the sum of all of those interior angles. So 13 times 180 is 2,340. So all of our interior angles are going to add up to 2,340 degrees, and it is a 15-gon. Now, should have noted that it was a regular 15-gon, meaning that all of the angles have the exact same measure. That's what the word regular means. So it is a regular 15-gon. Well, since it's a regular 15-gon, and we know that all of the inside angles add up to 2,340 degrees, all we got to do is divide that by 15, and that'll give us the measure of just one of the angles. So we go 2,340 divided by 15, and we get 156 degrees is just one of those angles. So 156 degrees is one of our interior angles. Now the exterior is a lot easier. You know that the sum of your exterior angles is always 360 degrees. So if we're talking about the exterior, again, it's always going to be 360 degrees. So all we have to do, since we know it's 15 sides and it's a regular 15-gon, meaning all the sides are the same, or all the angles are the same, we're going to take 360 degrees and divide by 15. And that'll give us the measure of one exterior angle. So 360 divided by 15 gives us 24 degrees. So there you go. Each exterior angle is 24 degrees and each interior angle is 156 degrees.